Hi everyone, today I'm going to be taking you through a piece of photo editing software called Adobe PS Express. So it's a free mobile app that is available on Apple and Android devices. You can find it in the App Store. It's made by Adobe, as the name suggests. You do need to sign up for it, but that also is free. And you need to be over the age of 13, so if you are below this age, that's an issue. At our school, with students from years 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13, this isn't a problem. So here it is. We're going to talk you through it, and we're going to demonstrate it to you. So I already have an Adobe login because I use Adobe software quite often. So when you first open this app, you will be asked to sign up. You can do that in the multiple different ways. Like I say, your best option is to use your school email address in order to do this. And what I'm greeted with when I log in after having used it before is my camera roll, essentially. So here's a selection of images I prepared for this demonstration. So let's tap on one, and that will load it into the application ready for us to edit and use. So along the bottom of your screen, you'll see a series of icons. This enables us to make changes to our image in different ways. So if I tap this one on the right hand side a second here with the lines with the dots, it then provides us with this array of different options along the bottom here as well. So if I go into light, then you'll see some squares appear at the bottom, and these are quite clearly labeled with the different elements that those squares will affect as you edit. So if I go across and tap onto contrast, for example, and then we have this slider here, the blue and white slider line. If I tap and hold the dot and then move it to the right, that's increasing the contrast in our image, and then move it to the left, and that's decreasing the contrast in our image. Just like we would when editing in school, the adjustments that we make to our images have to be accurate and precise and not over the top. It's also really important that we make sure we are editing and experimenting in the style of the artist or the photographer that we have in our research, in order to kind of to ground that for us. At the top of the screen, you'll see a rectangle that's split in two with a line down the middle. If I tap onto that, that will actually hide the changes I've done, so I can flip between the original and the unedited images in order to get a glimpse of the changes that I've made so far. We've got lots of different options in here, and in many ways PS Express is a bit more advanced than the CS6 version of Photoshop that we've been using in school, because it enables you to tap into the highlights or the shadows or the whites and the blacks within the image as well. We've got lots of different options here. So for example, if we were to tap onto saturation, we could then completely desaturate our image, so we could create a black and white image just there like that. If there's any change you make at any point that you want to step back on, at the top of your screen you'll see the bendy arrow pointing to the left. This is of course an undo button, and we can undo the change that we made there. We have a crop tool in here, so we can crop our images, and you'll see it has a rule of thirds grid, so we can compose our images just like we would in school. I'm actually quite happy with how the crop is on this image, so I'm not going to mess around with it too much. I'm going to leave it how it is. We've got options in here to rotate and flip our canvas, as well as transforming it horizontally, vertically. Have a play with those if you really want to, but for today's demonstration we're not going to go into those too much. Now, you could, if you wanted to, create a selective adjustment on our image here. These two little white squares that hover over each other with a black dot, I'm going to tap that and they're going to go blue, and we'll get these options on the right hand side of our image. Now, the PS Express app has identified different elements within the image. If I tap onto backgrounds, then that will actually identify just the background space, and we can desaturate just the background. This is a limited application depending on how accurate it is, but we can always refine it down the line. But it's in a way that we can make kind of selective coloring adjustments and things like that. Moving on, we've got detail areas, so we can for example, we can apply sharpening adjustments to our image. It will zoom in so we can get a better view, and then we can apply some sharpening if we want. Don't go over the top, because that ends up creating images that just don't look real or nice. This HSL option is hue, saturation and luminance, where we can make adjustments to the saturation and the hues of different colors within our images. to change what we have in front of us. Again, the changes you make have got to be calculated, and they've got to be influenced and linked to the research that you have looked at along the way. So if we just quickly zoom back out a second, I did that by pinching there. We can pinch and pull to zoom in and out of our image and then move around with our finger. So say we've been doing some edits on our image and we've made some adjustments, and we want to go through and capture what we've done. So when we document our images and our edits in our coursework, it's really important that we are taking screenshots of what we've done, but more importantly, providing a before and an after image. So the before image is unedited, it's untouched, and the after is following the different manipulations and effects that we've applied. So I can take screenshots. I don't know how to do this on Android devices, but I do know how to do it on Apple's. So you kind of push the home and the lock button simultaneously. That'll take a picture of your screen, and it will document it into your camera roll, ready for use in your coursework. To export the image that we've been editing here today, at the very top of the screen, we have the square with the arrow pointing upwards. And what this enables us to do is then to save our edited image to our camera roll. So we can tap on that, and then that will export that for us into our camera roll, so it's ready for us to use in our coursework. So when we include these in our coursework, our annotations is really important to make sure that we are talking about what we've done and how we've done it and what the influence of our artist has done to our work. Maybe your edit has been a little bit less successful than you wanted it to be. This is absolutely fine. Reflect on that in your annotations and talk about how you could improve it next time, or whether maybe you need better imagery in order to improve it moving forwards. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and if you do have questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch.